Okay, here we go. We're just about coming due with our second part of the project, project part 2. So I wanted to walk you through the assignment sheet. Now, one of the things with this little video, the readability of some of these slides is going to be a little bit sketchy. I'm also going to post this as clearly a PowerPoint file, so you guys can take a look at the PowerPoint file and go over it as slowly as you want with as much detail as you want. But I just wanted to give a little bit of face time to just point a couple of things out about the project to maybe help you and walk you through it. But don't forget, please do review this PowerPoint file on your own so that you can actually read through all of the great information that's provided on the slides. You could even use this, if you wanted, as kind of the foundation for your project. You could present it in PowerPoint if that's how you wanted to submit your work. So the overview of the product, we've already done project part 1, which was really our research piece. This was coming up with some sort of insight about the brand that you had chosen and also the consumer market that your brand is engaging in terms of the competition, what consumers want, etc. Now for project part 2, this is all about launching a new product. You've already thought about on the discussion board a lot of pieces to this puzzle. You've already come up with a new product idea. You've already talked a little bit about your place strategy, and by the time you complete your discussions this quarter, you will have done also a pricing strategy for this particular project idea. So 3 of the 4 bases you need to cover for project part 2, you're going to really rely a lot on the discussion board. Now let's go and take a look at the different pieces. The first piece to your marketing strategy, and I'm just kind of going down through, as I said, the outline that I have originally given to you. So we start with a product strategy. You've already, week 6, you did a concept test for a new product idea, and you've been exploring that idea over the course of the last, let's say, 4 or 5 weeks on the discussion board. So go back to week 6. Take your concept statement from your concept test. And I don't need the questions here. I just need that little description that you gave so that people could understand what you meant by your new product. And then I also want you to look to chapters 10 and 11. You've done some of this stuff week 7 on the discussion board, so now go back to week 7 on the discussion board and check out things like, what type of product is it? Is your new product idea a business product or a consumer product? Is it a convenience product? Is it a shopping product? Is it a specialty product? These are all things you talked about week 7. The second kind of piece from the textbook is your brand strategy grid. What strategy are you using? Is this a line extension? Is this a brand extension? Is this a new brand? Once again, week 7 discussion board, I already asked that you address some of this. So go back to week 7. I also want you to look to chapter 11 and to think about the category of the new product. Is it a new to the world product? Is it a new to the firm product, etc.? And that stuff's from chapter 11. And then finally, in terms of the product, describe the different product characteristics. On page 188 of the OCR, you're going to start to see a discussion of these product characteristics. So please apply them to this section of the project. Now, the second thing I'm asking for you to look into is the target market. You've already talked about this, week 5 on the discussion board. So take a look at your week 5 discussion thread and the week 5 required resources. And I want you to describe who your target audience is, use demographics, use psychographics, use any form of behavioral descriptions. Remember, we have VALIS 2 categories that you might want to apply here. Be as specific as you can. Then I also want you to think a little bit or describe your segmentation strategy. And this is what I mean by mass marketing, segment marketing, target marketing, niche marketing, or micro marketing. So what strategy does your target market reflect? Mass, segment, target, niche, or micro. Week 5 required resources outline all of those strategies. Then we move on to the place P. And this we discussed week 8. So you've already answered all of these questions, I believe, on week 8. So check out your week 8 discussion board thread and talk about things like the functions of the distribution channel. What do you need this distribution channel to provide for you? Think about the factors that affected your channel choice. Consumers are always going to be a great factor that are going to affect where you choose to sell your product through. Then also too, think about things like wholesalers, retailers. Are you including them, or are you doing more of a direct channel? If you're using retailers, then what kind of store are you going to sell in? Are you going to sell through department stores? Are you going to sell through big box retailers like Walmart or Target? There's also non-store retailing, right? Maybe things like a vending machine or something going on online. So think about all these aspects for your place strategy. Once again, that was from week 8. So check back to that discussion board. The next P we have is the promotional P. Now this is where definitely review this slide on your own so that you can read, because this is where we really get into a rough spot over here. You know, we have really small text. So I'm just walking you through the general aspects of the promotional strategy. This is probably the part of the project that you're going to have to do the most original work right now, because we didn't really come up with a promotional strategy through the discussion board. So what I want you to think about is, how are you going to use all of those Marcom tools? Now remember, there's a couple: advertising, public relations, sales promotion, professional selling. Those are the big 4 major groups of Marcom tools. How are you going to use each of these to communicate your new brand to your target market? How will you advertise the product? Right? I want you to think about your appeal and your executional strategy. These are the small pieces here. I also want you to think about advertising-wise, what media would you use? Do you want to advertise through television, radio, magazines, online, etc.? The media is the general form, so television is a media. I also want you to make vehicle decisions. A vehicle is a specific example of a media. So television is a media, and let's say American Idol, one TV show, is a vehicle. Grey's Anatomy would be a vehicle on TV. Sunday Night Football would be a vehicle on TV, etc. So the media is the broad form, and the vehicle is the specific. So Vogue is a vehicle, while magazines are media. I want you to make both of these choices here. I also want you to think about how you're going to use public relations. Now, public relations is cool because it's kind of like advertising, but it's kind of not, right? Review some of these materials through Blackboard so that you know what you're talking about with each one of these tools. Will you use sponsorships? Will you use product placement? Will you use publicity? This is all coming from, let's say, page 296 onwards on your OCR. I'm sorry, 296 onward is for sales promotion. So you've got public relations, sales promotion, and personal selling. Now with personal selling, some of you guys don't have to worry about this, right? There's not a lot of personal selling involved in some of your new product ideas. So think about it. Personal selling means a salesperson knocks on your door or engages you in a store and tries to provide you with some sort of face-to-face persuasion about why you should buy this product. So maybe your product uses professional selling, maybe it doesn't. So that's your promotional P. The next P and the last P is our price P. This is from week 11. So probably the most recent P that you've talked about once you really start to get going and doing work on the project. So go back to week 11 discussion board thread. There you've talked about already your pricing goals, your estimated demands and costs. That's kind of a little bit difficult, but also too your pricing strategies. Are you using a skimming strategy, a penetration strategy, or a status quo strategy? And then I also ask you a little bit about price positioning, which I think is something that's interesting to bring into the fold here. You know, do you want to have a premium type of price positioning strategy or an economy type of price positioning strategy? All of that stuff is corresponding in the week 11 course materials. So make sure that you're reviewing both your discussion board posts from week 11 on price and then also all of those required resources, lecture materials, etc. from the week 11 course materials. And all of this, I mean, sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot because you've done a lot of the work already on the discussion board. So please use the discussion board as a starting point. Notice too, though, I gave you some information on the discussion boards. I give you feedback on everything you post. So make sure that you're not just going back to your original thread, copying and pasting it into a new document and then resubmitting it for the final project. Read my comments against what you originally posted because I'm trying to help you get better. So I don't want to see the same mistakes that you may have made on the discussion board duplicated in this project. So make sure that you're fine-tuning your ideas and your strategies and delivering the highest quality of work. Also, if you are copying and pasting, that's fine because it's your work to begin with. But please make sure there's one font that goes throughout, you've got the same margins, you've got the same sizing. Sometimes when you copy and paste, it looks a mess. And I don't want to read messy work. I want to see a paper, whether it's in Microsoft Word or whether it's in PowerPoint. I want to see something that looks professional, something that's proofread and edited so that it's an easy read and that it looks like it's the highest quality you possibly could deliver. This is all due by 11:59 p.m. Monday, March 18th. So we're almost to March tomorrow. So you've got about 18 days to put together your work. You've got a lot of it already done on the discussion board, so I think it'll be not so bad in terms of putting it together. Please email me if you have any questions, and of course I'll be back in touch with reminders about the deadline.